Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Swapnil Pote and you are watching Night 2.5. From today, we are going to start the World Championship series, and the first World Championship we are going to take is between Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky, which was held in 1972. It is still now the famous World Championship ever played because Bobby Fischer and his demand take all the attention and also the Cold War. So what happened was from 1948, Soviet Union was reigning their world championship like Tigran Petrosian, Boris Spassky and many more, and there was total dominance of Soviet Union on the world of chess. So this boy from America, Bobby Fischer, who was prodigy in 50s, in 60s he was world class player, and in 70s he was showing his pinnacle form, and in that form he was the candidate for the world championship match. He defeated the former world champion Tigran Petrosian from the score of 6 to 2.5, and he was there for the world championship match. Bobby Fischer demanded many things for this match as he asked more money, more media attention, and also he asked he will not play in Soviet Union because he said in Soviet Union they didn't cover the news as it should be of beating Tigran Petrosian. He said that the local tournament was given much more importance than him beating the Tigran Petrosian. So 12 organizers applied for the world championship match, and out of 4 was selected, and from that 4 Reykjavik from Iceland was final to play this match. So this world championship was played in Reykjavik, Iceland. So the prize fund from Reykjavik was $1,25,000, and Bobby Fischer felt that it was still not enough. He said that prize fund should be as similar as in the boxing, which was asked by Muhammad Ali. So he was demanding more money, and FIDE president was dealing with him. Still, Bobby Fischer didn't like the $1,25,000 of prize fund. So on the opening ceremony day, he was still on New York and he didn't reach to play the match. So what happened was the British promoter of chess, Jim Slater, said, "I will donate the $1,25,000 more, and the total prize fund now is $2,50,000." Now Bobby Fischer came to play, and from now it is very interesting to see what will happen. And now this is the first match which was postponed to 11 days, and Bobby Fischer came to play. And also in this match Bobby Fischer came 10 minutes more late, so Bobby Fischer was not happy with the organizers and all, and it was really covered like from magazine. Also he has to apologize to Spassky for being late, as Spassky is the world champion. He can't tolerate so much intolerance by Bobby Fischer. So Spassky prepared d4. Spassky is moreover like e4 man, but I think for this world championship he prepared d4, knight f6 by Bobby Fischer, c4, e6, knight f3, knight c3, bishop, knight c3, bishop b4, e3. The Nimzo-Indian Rubinstein is the opening played here. Castle, bishop d3, c5. In game, castle was played, but a variation can be played like b6, castle, bishop b7, a3, bishop d6, c into d5, b4, a6, queen b3, knight e4, bishop b2, rook e8, f a4, rook e6, rook fd1, rook f6. This is example of continuation of the same opening, although the result is semi-open position in which black attacks on the king side while white attacks on the king side. But this was not played. Castle. So both players have castled on the king side as in typical Nimzo-Indian setting. So knight c6, a3, bishop a5, knight e2, D into c4. Bobby Fischer takes the pawn on c4 by d5 into c4. Bishop into c4. Bishop b6. D into c5. Queen into d1. Rook into d1. I think with the trade of queens, it seems that this game will be played in the end game. There is not much of an attack for either side now. However, white has the open d file which will help him. So, bishop into c5. Now, if we analyze the pawn structure at the contribution of the opening, we have an open position with which the c file and the d file are open for both the players. White has a rook eyeing the d file, so this is the file for white. As a result of recapturing on the earlier move, both sides have the same or extremely similar amount of space. One bishop already developed. One, like, I think for this both the bishops are already developed for both the side. Where for both the side one bishop is bad. There is no pawn majority in the position. There is no real pawn square weakness. Although b3 is a weak point, I think. With this move, white seizes more space by pushing his pawn with tempo, and black is pushed by b4. What happened from b4? Like he the weak square of b3 is now went, and there is no pawn majority on in this position. There is no real pawn square weakness, although b3 arguably has a weak point, and this pushes black backwards. Yeah. So bishop e7, bishop b2, bishop d7, rook ac1, rook f d8, knight e d4, knight into d4, knight into d4. So exchanges of knight, bishop a4, bishop b3, bishop into b3, knight into b3, queen into d1, rook into d1. After series of trade, the game has come to the end game. White has more active bishop. I think this black bishop is very much active than this black bishop. So after the 20th move, rook c8, black seizes this c file, and now white has this d file. But the thing is, if we see, the entry squares for white is covered. Like this knight covers this square, bishop covers to this important these two squares. So like d6, d7 and d8 are covered by knight and bishop, so there is no entry for the rook. While in this rook case, only two squares are covered by bishop, that is c3 and c1. So rook can enter from c2. So let's see. King f1. What side a player attacking on is the question. Like honestly, neither, since both sides trade off early with no strong attack against the king. So king f8, king e2, knight e4, rook c1, rook into c1, exchanges of rook, bishop into c1, f6, knight a5, and knight d6. I think this knight d6 is very important because you don't want to commit your pawn, because suppose if you push the pawn, you can't push it backwards. Yeah. So after knight d6, king d3, bishop d8, knight c4, bishop c7, and knight into knight d6, exchanges of knight, bishop into d6, b5, bishop into h2. Like I really want you to guess why Bobby Fischer played this bishop into h2. This, like if you move earlier, like even elementary kids know this pawn is poison, because if like bishop captures it, sorry, If bishop captures it, you can simply push this g3 and the bishop here is trapped. I don't know what Bobby Fischer thought here. Also, the players who were commenting like very GM and all were also in a thing. Like everyone knows this is a bad move, but when Bobby Fischer plays it, you have to consider it. Like the pawn on h2 is slightly poisoned, as after the bishop takes it, it will be trapped with g3, and the game will still be about equal, I think, as engine will say it. But white will have a bishop for 2 pawns. So let's see what will happen. g3 as obvious, h5. Like now Bobby Fischer's plan is like h4, take this pawn, support this bishop. But this can't happen, yeah, because king can simply come here. Like not this way. From this way king can come. So king e2, h4, king f3, king e7, king g2. Now Bobby Fischer has to give the bishop. H into g3, f into g3, bishop into g3. Now bishop has went like king into g3, and now Bobby Fischer has gave his bishop for the 2 pawns. King d6, a4, king d5, bishop a3. Like this move was very important, because if you go one move back, if you don't play it, then king can just simply come here and take this pawn, and at least there is the draw for now black. So bishop a3 was very important. King e4, bishop c5, attacking this pawn. So after bishop c5, a6, b6, very important to like push this pawn, not to exchange. So if you exchange the pawn, the winning probability for white ends, yeah. Like if we remove all this pawn, a bishop can't meet the lonely king. So f5, king h4, f4. Now I think this move f4 is a blunder. It is a bad exchange, because now you don't have this connected passes if you move one move back. Now if you see, these are the connected passes, yeah, but after f4 you don't have that connected passes. So into f4, this was obvious. King into f4, king h5. Now the point is, now like you want to come like this route, which is very long, but at the same time it's defining, yeah. You can do this. King f5, bishop e3. Now like the main plan for Spassky here is to like bring a zugzwa, because now if you see, this king is cut off. So if black gets in zugzwa, then obviously then the king can run and re-steal this pawn. So what, king e4, attacking the bishop, bishop f2, king f5, bishop h4. Now we can see this was the zugzwang, so he has to move the pawn. Something has to be moved, so he moved the pawn. e5, bishop g5, e4, bishop e3, king f6, king g4. Now the king is released from the jail, like he was here. Now simply the king march can start, yeah. So after king e5, king g5, king d5. Now Bobby Fischer want to come here to protect his crucial pawn, eh? Like this is the crucial pawn. If this pawn falls, then this is just 2 squares away from queening. King f5, a5, bishop f2, g5, giving this pawn. You just want to delay it, yeah. Delay the king from coming to this crucial pawn. So let's see what happened. King into g5, king c4. Now Bobby Fischer wants this pawn, just creating the counter play, but there is no chance. Absolutely there is no chance. King f5, king b4, king into e4. Now like pawns are equal and Spassky is just a bishop up. So king into a4, king d5, king b5, and king d6. I think this is a clearly lost position as white has a pawn on b6 and is looking to take the pawn on b7 by this route. Also, with king d6 and king 7, king c7 and promote. So black just resigns, yeah. Because if you play anything like you think to promote this pawn, yeah, this is still 4 moves away. So Bobby Fischer can just play like something king c7, just play it. So here after king d6 he just resigned. But what if uh, Fischer just pushes the pawn, yeah? So Bobby Fischer can play king c7 and after something like pawn to a3 he can take this pawn and after pawn to a2 he can just simply protect this square and you can't just play this, yeah. If you suppose you want to come here, I can just simply, this is very elementary, yeah. If you are thinking you can, now there is no way to come because now I am queening and winning. So Bobby Fischer resign on 56 move, which is queen d6. Black resigns and white won. This was the first match and the victory for Spassky. It was moreover that the game was equal till capturing the h2 pawn, and all thought that Bobby Fischer will take this draw from black pieces and then try to push with the white pieces as he will get the next game as white. But that's why the game is famous, yeah. Like for this all the controversies and all the things happen during this world championship. So it's very interesting and we will cover all the matches which will happen in that world championship. So stay tuned. If you like this content, please do like, share and subscribe, and also don't forget to hit that bell icon so you will get regular notifications. Also comment down how was my video. So thank you.